may have the largest number of cell phone handsets. And so the opportunity for banking the billion became much greater. And I have to give a lot of credit to the current government to actually take what was considered a possibility into the realm of reality. And when we talk about Bandhan, Aadhaar and mobile, the JAM as it's called, I don't necessarily like the term, but I still like the intent. It has actually very rapidly pushed bank accounts into the hands of people, and with a twist. It's not that they're being pushed. Now there is a demand that has been created because people actually want the bank account for what it might offer them, insurance, even subsidy. And so, to begin with, I wanted to ask the Minister, how do you think JAM has gone? What was the intent behind it? And what do you think is coming?
Thank you very much, Janmajay. And first of all, it's indeed a privilege and an honor to be with this very distinguished panel and with all of you to discuss this topic, banking a billion. And when I first heard about the topic and I found out about who the very distinguished panelists are going to be, I thought they'd be talking about how they are banking their billions.
We are only executing your vision, sir.
Then I realized it's more about how we can reach to every nook and corner of India and make sure that we achieve the goal of empowerment, which the Honorable Prime Minister in such an inspiring way spoke about yesterday. So really, if you think about what we are trying to accomplish, it starts with a vision. And the vision is what Honorable Prime Minister said yesterday, which is that we want to ensure that we are able to create opportunities for every single Indian. We want to empower Indians. And because this is a government that's a pro-poor government, a government this is for the poor people, when we say banking a billion, we want to make sure that we can reach financial services to every single individual in India, because that is the path to providing the opportunities which we have said is like oxygen for every single aspirational Indian. So it starts with the vision, Janmajay. It starts with that vision. But then as we've thought about it subsequently, we've realized that it has to move through three very important phases. One phase is fully complete now. There's a second phase that we're working through and a third phase that's still to come. So the first phase that's done is one about inclusion. And Honorable Prime Minister, when he was on the ramparts of the Red Fort, declared that within 100 days, we would achieve 100% financial inclusion and ensure that every single Indian household had access to a bank account. And I'm very proud to say that before January 26, which was the deadline that he had given us, we had accomplished that. So that today, and this was accomplished in 100 days, in 100 days, we have been able to bring banking services to every single Indian citizen, widely viewed as one of the signature accomplishments of the government, not just in India, but around the world. So that's what we have achieved. Thank you. Now that was the first phase, which is to be able to bring banking services to every single individual, banking to the unbanked. The second phase that we started thereafter is to create an array of products. And the design of these products has been a very important aspect of our thinking. So the array of products that we've created, first we started with the notion of a RuPay debit card, and associated with that RuPay debit card was the 5,000 rupee overdraft if you establish a good credit history, a 30,000 rupee accident insurance that goes along with that. So we tried to take this Jan Dhan account and add certain features to it that make it very attractive so that people have an incentive to sign up. So we got that basic savings product and credit product done. Then we moved to the insurance side. And in insurance, I was with the chairman of Life Insurance Corporation yesterday in Bombay, and it's only an organization like LIC can do what we did next on insurance, which is to have an accident insurance for 12 rupees. Ladies and gentlemen, 12 rupees a year, we provide accident insurance, life insurance for people up to 2 lakhs. And then for 330 rupees, $5 no less, we provide 2 lakh rupees worth of term life cover as well. Another very, very popular product that has spread like wildfire, and we have crores of people that have signed up for this life insurance. Associated with that was Atal Pension Yojana, where the government matches a pension contribution that people can make in the unorganized sector to create a pension for themselves. So that was a pension product that we added onto this platform. We are working on additional products as well in health insurance. And of course, a very important product that we've also launched is Mudra as well, where without any documentation or any collateral or any personal guarantees, people have access to microloans to set up their thelas, to set up their dukan, to set up their saloon. This is what we are accomplishing by creating this suite of very simple, very easy products. You sign one simple form. We're moving towards a mobile platform for that, and it's available. That's phase 2, a range of very simple products that can really bank $1 billion by providing them all of this. Now we move to the third phase. Because as we've implemented it, we found kind of where some of the glitches are. And this goes from the jam aspect to the more bread and butter aspects of this, if you will. And the bread and butter aspect of it is that we have to make sure that it's easy for people to get to these products. And today we don't have enough ATMs in India. Rana will tell me what the exact right number is, but I think it's about 350,000, 400,000 ATMs in India right now.
And if you add the BTAs, slightly more, but you're right.
Yeah, so we don't have enough ATMs, particularly as people have flooded into banks and they've gone to their business correspondents and other channels to be able to do their cash in, cash out and other services. So really in the third phase, what we're working on right now is to see, can we get an ATM in every post office? Can we get an ATM in every railway station? And through the payment banks, and Kunal will tell us about all of that, but through the payment banks, we want to be able to micro ATM, cash in, cash out, where every kirane ki dukan, every pan wala, every little store in every little village. That's what we need to be able to do so that this access is pervasive. People get access to this set of simple products that we have delivered. So that's the vision. Those are the phases that we've been working on. And we think at the end of the day, when this is all put together, this new financial architecture for India, not only will it be a game changer globally, because I don't think anybody has pulled off something at this scale and this scope, but much more importantly, for the billion that we spoke about, we'll be able to provide financial security and the ladder so that they can lead much better lives. Thank you.
So it's very interesting. I'm going to try and now segregate and for fun create a war in this panel. And the way I'm going to do that is that I look at the government and Kunal on one side, and I look at the regulator and the bankers on the other side, and I'm going to provoke a discussion right now. Are regulators and bankers having a free ride? And is the government's push in trying to actually get Aadhaar, mobile, micro ATMs, Kirana stores involved? Actually, the one thing that I didn't want to hear from the minister was ATMs. Why do we even need ATMs? Why not the phone? Can we actually divide between the old and the new? So, Rana, I'm going to challenge you. Is the RBI a problem for you in doing inclusion?
So I'm super challenged. I think if I speak for the Reserve Bank of India, I think they are playing a fantastic enabling role, because the payments bank, the small banks and all, I think are very good experiments, very good pilots which are being launched in the system. But before they become super successful, I think there are many other things, like the Honorable Minister said, that let's take a stock of what has happened after the schemes were launched. The Bandhan, JAM scheme is like an outstanding success. I was very skeptical. I met him on a flight. I said, boss, what's happening? It's not sticky. But the good thing is 20.38 crore accounts have opened. 30,000 crores of balances have accreted to these accounts. And they started like sluggishly. I'm talking about September 2014 to January 2016. So I, did a little bit of homework this morning for breakfast. And I promise you that 30,000 crores means incremental, inclusive savings in our economy, like the Honorable Minister said. Now, how is it happening? You know, because these guys who are unbanked, first time when they come, they need financial literacy, naturally. And number two, the direct benefit transfer, which is the intent of the government to, in a way, create direct transfers and get all the leakages out, they are creating little balance here. So point number one, the fact is 20.38 crore accounts on the unbanked is not enough. This is where I have a little disagreement with the Honorable Minister. Sir, they're still, statistically, I could be wrong, and mostly you're right, but there's at least another 21 crore accounts which still need to be banked because they are today unbanked. So we are on the way, but the fact of the matter is, if a 50% achievement, in my judgment, is a great achievement. It's a great achievement. And then if you look at what he said earlier, the adjacent point being the Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana, where, like the Honorable Minister said, that the unbanked corporate, incorporated companies, small kinara shops, thela shops, like he said, 87,000 crores has been disbursed to them. So it's a great accomplishment. I have to congratulate you and your boss, who's going to speak a little later, and your super boss who spoke yesterday, because it's a very great accomplishment in all of door-to-door, 21 months. It's like outstanding, because it's creating inclusion in small, tiny businesses, and naturally in terms of the households which have been unbanked. Let's talk about the underbanked. The underbanked, Janmajay, is another very beautiful field. Because when you see what is happening on technology interfaces, if you see the unified product interface, which has been created by indigenously at a very frugal level, at a frugal technology level by none other than NPCI, we have almost 17 crore, sorry, you were saying that earlier, 17 crore RuPay cards. This is like very frugal. You don't have to pay MasterCharge and Visa for their astronomical costs, right? This is like very frugal. And Dr. Ramcharan, who's here, I'm sure he will elaborate in the course of the day that how you can create frugal technologies and payments methodologies in our country. I think this is an outstanding development under the leadership of our Prime Minister. Equally, the fact that we have the Bharat bill payment system. Sorry if I can elaborate on that with your kind permission. To me, it is the ultimate financial architecture which will create household payments, mobile payments, electricity payments, seasonal payments, monthly payments in a very frugal manner the moment the momentum really starts building up. These are outstanding schemes, and we must all collectively, a lot of urban, super urban households are here, that we must respect that this is like technology at its best and schemes which are really building, momentum. And I think this is going to be a tectonic shift in the payments architecture of our country.
Kunal, I want you to challenge Rana. Do you think?
It's not a boxing match,
I think the audience will enjoy a little bit of open nook joke, as they say.
Janmajay, Arnab is coming after this.
So, Kunal, tell me, what are the constraints you face? You know that every Indian now has a mobile phone. You want to really enable their mobile phones to buy railway tickets, just go away from just booking their next movie ticket to actually go into utilities, into their real life. What are the constraints you are facing? Who's your friend and who's not your friend?
Recharge.
So, I think the way what we are seeing, especially in India, are few observations. First, there is a chief technology officer in every house, and that person is of the age 14 to 21. He's the one who's driving the entire household towards technology. Slowly, the chief technology officer is also becoming the chief procurement officer because he understands technology, right? right? And that is one thing that we need to understand, that we are actually selling to them than the chief wage earner, as we used to talk about earlier. So that's one thing that is missing in a lot of the scripts that we are currently having from the, let's say, the traditional finance companies. Second point is about, is there an incentive to not make, let's say, payments through cash? We talk about banking. I think anybody would see the value of banking when they can actually use some of these things. And you challenged the point about ATM. I think we have to move and leapfrog away from that. There is no way we'll be able to deploy enough ATMs which are going to be viable for banks to kind of have them to really have transactions happening over there. We really need to move. Means imagine there are at least 100 million smartphone users in this country who are actively using internet, but are withdrawing cash from the ATM and recharging at the shop next to it, right? That cannot make sense. Means the same generation that is using Snapchat and Instagram to send instant pictures are going to ATM, withdrawing money and recharging over there. That has to be obviously disincentivized in terms of usage. The other thing is, when we talk about the usage on some of these platforms, right? I made a comment yesterday in ET about if going to a railway counter is going to cost me X, and let's say if I go to IRCTC, I have to pay a small convenience fee on top of that, how am I really encouraging cashless transactions, right? And trust me, 5-7 rupees is not the thing. The consumer just naturally thinks that's a charge on top of that, right? We should be thinking that maybe it will probably cost you less if you do a digital transaction versus actually going to the counter, right? Be it your passport application or anything for that matter. A lot of these schemes are actually working towards that. But I think at fundamental level, right, we have to at least certain categories like bill payment, recharge, which are, I believe, are the fundamental categories for getting the transactions to start, for banks to really see the value of the whole system moving in a manner, is to open up these gates, and at least for certain categories, right? I believe fuel is one category, or recharge is another category, bill payments is another category, insurance premiums. If we just kind of open this up and actually incentivize users to use digital methods, I'll tell you one thing that I know for sure. Any digital transaction is an irreversible behavior. I don't know anybody who's gone back to a railway platform after booking IRCTC, or gone to shop after recharging online, or gone to an electricity board queue after paying his bill online. So I think an irreversible behavior happens already. We just need to incentivize the trials.
Vishwavir, what are you doing to bank the billion?
Yeah. So first of all, I see no particular challenge between
Old and new.
the government and the RBI's push and thrust towards proliferating banking services to the, to the lower income segments of society.
No. The question is not that the challenge was, is RBI giving you guys an easier deal because they are not allowing fintech to challenge you? That's all the question for RBI was, that are they protecting the incumbent banks from fintech?
No. We are actually very much in alignment with the onset of the payment banks and the, the fintech. And we see the world changing, of course. And we see this, that, let's not talk about banks in the traditional sense and fintech companies separately and, payment banks separately. I think it's part of one new ecosystem that is getting created, where we see our sort of future role getting slightly redefined to provide banking and payments as a service now, and that's the way we look at it. And we are realigning our own organization in that manner. And talking about, financial inclusion, I mean, for the last 4 or 5 years, the entire orientation of the bank in significant measure has been towards financial inclusion. Our strategy, from a point of differentiation, has focused in this aspect. And a significant proportion of our balance sheet from a credit point of view, and in fact, our income comes from this space. So I'm all for it. And if I may make just 3 points, that the critical mass of customers, through the jam phenomenon, has got created. And I think we are well poised now to take the next leap in this space. 3 things will matter the most. One is, of course, in terms of the accessibility. And that is being created through what I call multi-party, channel strategy. The multi-party, cash in, cash out through the BC networks.
through other sort of mechanisms coming into play. So that's one aspect. And I think that access is one aspect. The second is the creating the transaction flows. Okay? There again, I think the very fact that all of this is happening, the more and more transaction flows will happen as more and more people come into the system. And of course, technology has to do a lot of it. So the whole idea is to create ease and convenience of banking. And one of the methods is to actually reduce the cost of doing transactions. There we need mass adoption of technology at the front end, at the back end. And I think the cooperation with government is essential in terms of a public-private partnership structure where the payment banks coming on will help in creating the financial infrastructure that we need ultimately to bring the cost of intermediation down. And all of that is ultimately good because it is going to add to the customer base. And at the end of the day, there are several products that we will be able to offer. So if you look at this as a service that we banks can provide going forward.
Ajay, I'm going to ask you an even more provocative question. People believe that you like to bank billionaires rather than bank the billion. The minister had alluded to that at the start. Defend yourself.
So let me correct what we really do. We would like to make a lot more people billionaires and then bank them. So yes, we really want to help more billionaires be created. But let's take a step back. I mean, if you could have titled this session as Empowering the Billion, it would have been better. Because truly that's what we're doing. We're really making sure that a large proportion of our population is actually coming to the mainstream.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.